Yo, 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 what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Nate the Great coming at you with another live. You already know if you're new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. So returning friends and family, you already know it's peace and blessings. Give y'all some time to tune in case these notifications ain't go out. And I ain't gonna be too crazy tonight. Do want to get a point across, so James number 8, what's going on, my guy? Geraldine, baby. Give y'all some time to tune in. First things first, you already know. Hopefully, everybody having a blessed and productive Monday. Hopefully, everybody was smoothly able to get through the work day. Hopefully, your kids was able to get through the school day. Hopefully, y'all been enjoying this decent weather we've been getting. Those celebrating birthdays, y'all already know. Hopefully, y'all keeping yourselves safe. BB baby. And if you are celebrating birthdays again, you're able to see another one. Your praises where it's due. Appreciate everybody that tuned in Saturday. Little light conversation. Appreciate y'all for rocking out with the vibes and all. Y'all know what it is. Try to give you a variety of things. So, but the light conversation was definitely a focal point. So, yeah, today's message, it really just comes from a logical perspective, but it also comes from the deepest parts. I don't know. Before I go left, part of what I was saying on Saturday was, you know, was the truth. I feel not to be funny. Victimhood and the victimhood mentality is one reason why excellence is not where it used to be at. People have become too complacent with just, accepting the bare minimum or accepting less than. Geraldine, baby, I see you up in here. See you up in here. But yeah, people have become complacent. You know, you'll accept the bare minimum or nothing at all. Some of you don't want to take into consideration that victimhood mentality, that need to say that this happened and y'all owe us for this. We owe it to ourselves. I'm not trying to sound funny style or nothing, but it's a truth behind that. We owe it to ourselves to at least say we're gonna make the strides. We're gonna make the efforts into rebuilding. Some of y'all have gotten complacent and feel like, oh, just because you decide to do certain things that make poor choices, that entitles you to any and everything. I believe that everybody should be willing to get out and work and do something. I go by this mindset of if you don't grind, if you don't hustle, you don't eat. And I'm saying that on both ends. If you don't hustle, you don't do something, you don't eat. Some of y'all trying to live off of past traumas, even traumas that you've never gone through, just to get one step up or just to Just scam your way around. Instead of saying, let me get myself up, let me apply myself, let me find something that I know is conducive in my life that's going to bring me peace, balance, but prosperity. I said this one time before because I believe it. There's a lot of y'all just have this lazy mindset. Y'all would rather sit up, lay up doing nothing all day. Oh wait, before this message even go out, if it don't apply, let it fly. Because this is a stern message that's needed. It's also a stern inspiration for some to get it together. Y'all can remember when I said that, certain things they're doing right now is temporary. Then again, in some instances, it could be for real. At some point, it's time for a lot of y'all to look at the overall trajectory of how things are moving. Let's not forget again that I believe it was $50 million sent out to another country. So that's another thing some of y'all didn't think about. Angela, baby. But some of y'all, you think that supposed to, again, live off the land as much as possible. No, you're going to have to eventually give something back to the land as well. If you look at it from a different perspective, if this was agriculture, you're taking more resources and you're taking more from the land, but you're not putting nothing back. Just real raps. You're not thinking that, again, you do at some point have to get up and do something. The mindset of, oh, y'all supposed to do this for us and y'all supposed to do that for us, it done got burnt out to a degree. Not just amongst us, it's just in general. This is a general message that is needed. So I've seen a lot of different people crying and moping and getting all in a hustle and bustle about certain things being taken away. But what about the things you're taking away? Nobody want to hold that accountability. Nobody wants to hold that. What exactly are you supposed to be doing? And again, especially when you able bodied to do something, what are you supposed to be doing? Again, I speak on both cylinders. This goes down the middle. This is for anybody who has that mentality to be lazy and not apply themselves. How can you strive for any form of excellence and try to make a difference in any way when, again, some of y'all don't want to do it? Some of y'all rather sit up, be on social media all day, do a whole bunch of whatever. For some, y'all are using it and utilizing it the way it's supposed to be utilized, and that's commendable and definitely honorable because, again, you're doing it the way you're supposed to be doing it. But for others, you're doing it, and in the same token, still getting benefits or getting certain things from within the same structure you cry about every day. Like prime example, some of y'all cry about your communities not having. But when you have, what are you doing to bring back into it? There are some who are bringing back and trying to bring as much to their community. Got others that are not going to be able to do that, but they will find different ways to be a part of that change. It's a small number. Just like right now, it's a small number of you who not piecing things together. Correct. At some point, you're gonna definitely have to work for those that's collecting those benefits, especially the able-bodied people. You're gonna have to work. And I would say for those right now, in particular, who are either about to build a family or thinking about building one, if you could barely afford to feed yourself, think twice before you do anything. How can you strive for excellence when, again, you're not trying to be a part of that? There's a lot of things that could change and you could bring back to restoration without outside help and interference. Some people cry about the things that are about to be established in their communities, but they're not going to these meetings. They're not really being the forefront and standing on principle. You can't be half in and half out. Just like that in life right now. Can't be in and out. Now, again, for some of y'all that are trying to strive for excellence, you are going to have to get up and do the work. There's some people who say they come from the struggle and they want to try to help those who are coming from the struggle. But again, it's a small handful that actually do what they're supposed to be doing. For some of y'all, you talk a good game, but you're not putting on a good game. Now, again, when it's all said and done, it's supposed to be about inspiring yourself and also inspiring the others. To be quite honest, in my opinion, for some of y'all, if you feel like it's that much of a problem with certain things that are happening, then for those that really stand strong on what they believe in, why don't you run? Why don't you run for an office spot? And stand 10 toes down when you're doing it. You can't continue to keep blaming an establishment when, to be quite honest, it's really up to us. If we feel there's certain things that are not being met, then what do we do as a whole to try to make it happen? Or are we going to stand in each other's ways? I believe to get towards a state of excellence, again, you have to do the due diligence. You have to do the work. And again, you got to have concrete things that are going to be cemented for you. Like prime example, some of y'all put yourselves in debt, or you're not doing the accurate information the way you're supposed to do it. To be quite honest, when it comes down to any form of college, that could cost a pretty penny. Student loans, you should be teaching about that. Because again, that's one thing that's putting a lot of y'all in debt. You're trying to get some of these degrees, but in the same token, these degrees is costing you all the long run. P. Moses, what's going on, my guy? You already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. But these are things you need to teach about. You know, give solid information the way it's supposed to be given. My thing is, if you ain't got the money to pay back those student loans, paying them back is going to be a pain in the ass. And it could take you longer depending on how long you've been, how much was put into it. So again, think about it. These are things that you're supposed to think about all around the board. BMF, just because you changed your name, that does not mean, it does not mean, good sir, you know what I'm saying, where my scratch off ticket, son? I ain't trying to hear that. Nah, I was good, my brother. No, but again, you gotta think about it. In any aspect of life, you're gonna have to do something. Nothing's gonna fall in your lap, and even if it falls in your lap, at some point, those good things will come to an end. Right now, for some of y'all, I feel bad because you might be affected, and I mean the ones that actually need it. I feel bad for them because they might actually need it, and they could be getting affected. I'm speaking about all this next month and December because things that are being said and the things that are just being broadcasted, it's ridiculous. I'm sorry, it is. It really is. On all cylinders. Again, this is a general message. So a lot of y'all that don't need to be on these programs and don't need to be on these assistances. Because again, it doesn't benefit you. Now again, these should go for the people that actually need it. The ones that don't need it, yeah, they're gonna start weeding y'all out. Oh, you want to continue to do this? Okay, well, you have to do this. If you can't do this, don't expect nothing. So again, time for some of y'all to motivate yourselves. Stop crying. Stop pandering. Get it together. Motivational speaking. Some of y'all might think it's sounding kind of harsh. It's not. Again, this is coming from a good place. You gotta think about those who, again, whether they got big families or no families, they're not relying on this assistance. Now, again, some of those people can't even get it. They can't get it because again, they make too much. James number 8, what's going on with the pork chop sandwiches, son? Yeah, nah, I know BMF is definitely doing so. But yeah, just gotta think about it. At what point do you say I want to do something for myself? Not have to rely on. It's almost like an allowance you relying on. You want to rely on a monthly allowance? You could have been probably making more monthly if you was on your feet doing something. Eventually, the goal is to strive for excellence, right? But how can you do so when you're allowing something to hold you back? Yeah, we'll give you this, but in the same token, you got to do this. And if we find out you doing something, what you think gonna happen? And some of y'all would really risk it. Now, like I said before, I feel bad for the kids that might have to really suffer as far as really not eating, because there are kids out there that ain't eating properly, whether they coming from a good structure or not. So we can't forget that part. And I spoke about that recently. But again, there's a lot of y'all that should want to strive for excellence when it comes down to feeding your families. Riders, baby. And it's true. Because how long you gonna live off of that mentality? Say that y'all owe me, y'all owe me. For all that we went through, you owe us. The reason why I say it's sad is because you gotta think about it. Again, for most of y'all, ain't nothing wrong with you. You're not mentally handicapped. You're not physically handicapped. You're not suffering from some form of illness to where you can't work. You're not old or almost senile. So what's stopping you from being the best you? Commander baby, moop moop. Lara, what's going on? I see you up in here. See you up in here. I mean, it's truth though. What's stopping you from being the best you? Obviously, is you. You would rather lay back and again not try to apply pressure to your life. Y'all would rather reap the easy benefits instead of thinking about the people who actually need those. But then you get mad and get upset and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. So you're gonna risk messing up your family. I'm speaking to those that need to hear that for real. So you gonna sit there and mess up everything when it comes to your family because you don't want to get together? The ones that really are gonna have an impact, I'm quite sure they're gonna do it the proper way and not jeopardize putting themselves in jail or jeopardize their kids actually eating for the holidays. And I'm being real. There's people who have, yes, might have took them a little bit to get themselves in order and get themselves together. But for others, it's like, at what point do you say, let me do something that's going to get me off of it? Like, again, I can see you needing them when you really need them, but you ain't been needing them. And you just been saying, oh, this is going to be the generational living for us. No, at some point it was going to be some form of situation where, again, not going to get what you think you're going to get. But shoot, there's still programs that was available for y'all that could have got y'all in a better position. And again, it's about that time for change. Some of y'all think you're gonna live off the taxpayers' money and then that's it. That was a sad mindset that ever got instilled in anybody. I'm sorry. Because again, how long you really thought you was gonna do it? At what point do you say we could push for excellence in a way to where we don't need too much assistance at all? We could be structured and straight within ourselves and within our realms. It's a good question. Some of y'all again are living off of old past traumas from God knows when and making it a part of your daily life. Like I said, accountability. You got to be accountable for your life. You got to be responsible for your life. Again, if you don't hustle, you don't eat. I'm sorry. The best way said, you know. And I'm sorry. For some, I don't feel bad for because again, you had ample time and opportunity to make something of yourself. Utilize what you have so you could be in a better spot. There's certain things that will never be restored because again, people get in their ways. For some of y'all, you gotta realize that we co-inhabit the same spaces and almost in the same places. it's time to be unified when it comes down to restoring excellence. Keith, what's going on, my guy? And that's real. You know, it's things you don't want to hear, but in the same token, you're gonna have to hear it. Like Thanos said, it's inevitable. James, what's going on, my guy? See them coffee cups in the chat. Marlene, baby. But again, you gotta want to do something for yourself. By you just sitting back and just letting life pass you by, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting your children up for failure, especially when they're young right now. Again, you want to build a blueprint, right? Your blueprint should be, even if I need assistance for the time being, I don't need the assistance forever. And I'm not going to make it a generational living. And I'm being real. I'm speaking to everybody, not just mine. I'm speaking to everybody. This is a general message and a consensus, whether you want to accept it or not. There's a lot of y'all that should not be on these damn programs because, again, there's nothing wrong with your ass. Stop using and abusing your own system. At some point, you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to work. Can't cry and mope about certain scenarios or situations when, again, you're not making it better. Using the kids and using the families and saying, oh, how I'm supposed to do this and how I'm supposed to do that. Like every other working family that's probably out there right now. Get to where you don't need the assistance. For some of y'all, instead of trying to go for all these marquee diplomas and everything else, again, that's going to cost money, put you in debt. Um, time to time to switch it up, and that's real talk right there. It's time to switch it up because a lot of these programs that y'all was utilizing or that y'all was just falling back on, you ain't gonna be able to fall back on it no more. And right now, for some of y'all, you should understand that it is a government shutdown. So you're not gonna get nothing regardless. If nobody eats, you don't eat. It's just as simple as that. But again, the fact that some of y'all would talk about excellence or talk about trying to grow and maintain certain aspects of life, but you're willing to throw it all away because you're not getting no food, man. Don't make no sense. Serious, baby. And that's the thing. Because prime example, I'm gonna keep it real. And I really want y'all to get this. That's how true it is. What's the purpose of relying on a system when you have to, again, put yourself at halt? You ain't supposed to be doing nothing. Prime example, some of y'all ODing or was crying about Section 8. What the hell you thought was going to happen at some point? And again, you got people who can honestly use those things and they ain't getting them because y'all just sitting there complacent on certain situations. Go on there. Keep it real. You know, setting yourself up. Because the whole purpose is not being able to work. So if you're doing certain things and still receiving those benefits, you're messing up everything. And at some point, you gonna get ran down on, whether you believe it or not. You're gonna get ran down on. And again, especially when some of y'all are making it a habit to come on here and post up every little thing. Why would I rely on a system that's gonna keep me at home, or for that matter, just gonna keep me limited to what I could do when I know I could do limitless things? And there's some of y'all that really have this mindset to say, I don't want to apply myself. I don't want to do it. For some of y'all, you scared to do it because you know what's going to happen when it comes to the progression. You know, things are going to change. Shit, even people might change. The same token, it's about your overall growth and development. You want to strive for excellence. You want to break certain curses and break certain generational curses, like you want to call it. How you going to do it when you ain't trying to be motivated to do it? Some of y'all think you was going to just create families and utilize the system as much as possible. At what point did you say, nah, I got to do something for myself to where I don't need this? And to be quite honest, some of y'all crying and moping about having to work for benefits. Again, you utilizing them. You gonna cry about 20 hours when you got people working more than 50, 60 hours a week? Come on now. That entitlement behavior, for real. That's entitlement to the third degree. I feel I shouldn't have to work just to get what I'm supposed to get. You got people that right now, if they wasn't in their positions, they would be trying to work. You got disabled people that would, man, listen, you hear the stories and you find out what it is. You got disabled people that literally wish they could work. So what does that tell you? It's supposed to be that mental drive overall to want to do something. Find your field or find whatever it is you going to find and make it work for you. And for some of y'all destined to do it, but you just don't want to do it. It's not a way to live. No doubt, Angela, appreciate you, baby. You know, like, come on now, y'all. I mean, at what point do you say, I shape my destiny? I can shape certain things, and even if I decide I'm going to remain wherever I'm at, I know I can make something happen. Yeah, I need the ingenuity for real. Some of y'all need these type of motivational talks, and it gotta be stern. It can't be sugar coated because a lot of y'all refuse to listen to sugar coated shit. Sorry to say it that way. Appreciate you for dropping those links, serious baby. Working hard in these damn New York City rats, baby. Like, come on now. How can you sit here and get to a better state in life when you don't want to take a chance at living life or trying to take chances at life? And when I say take chances, I mean the positive chances. You could take a chance at doing something as far as the industrial business is concerned, and you could make something work. Denise, baby. This is all I'm saying. It is solely up to you to say it's time for a change. And again, I would say for some that need to hear it before it gets to a certain point. Again, if you could barely afford to feed one mouth, don't think you're gonna make a certain habit of living off the land forever. At some point you're gonna have to get it together for yourself. Give me 1 second. Yeah, but this is all I'm saying. How long you think you gonna again just lay on your ass and rely on assistance? Why don't you assist yourself into a better living? You already know. Keith, appreciate you, my guy. Like I said, I ain't gonna be too crazy all night, but this is a conversation that's needed because again, some of y'all have really not taken into consideration what's being shown. At some point you're gonna have to, and I mean you're gonna absolutely have to rely on yourselves so you could build and keep growing the structure of your family, structure of your own living. You know, again, why set yourself short? You know, why limit yourself when you could do limitless things? See, the mind could play tricks on you. That's if you allow it to happen. Body, sorry, you've been tricked. You've been tricked to thinking that this is the best possible way for generational family growth and everything else along those lines. Nah, you was fed a pipe dream. Sorry to tell you that you was. And for some of you, you was wise enough to see the great tape and you was able to get to a point where you don't need it. I'm sorry. I'm one of those ones that avidly feel again, you don't need it. Get off of it. It's sad when some of y'all really don't want to put in the time and effort and say, I could do this. Some of y'all talk about this boss talk mentality. Get the hell out of here. You gotta work for somebody at some point. In order for you to be your own boss, you gotta start somewhere. You might not want to hear it, but it's true. For y'all young men out there, especially the ones who are creating families, better be wise in your decision making. And again, push yourselves. Push yourselves to the highest lengths. Because again, if you're creating a family, You are responsible for taking care of that family. Ladies, yeah, I gotta be mindful in who you giving your body to. And to be quite honest, on another level, it's not even just that. Don't keep creating mouths that you're not gonna be able to feed. The general message. If you are gonna build a family with somebody, then y'all both better be on the same accord when it comes to everything. There's no need to keep creating mouths you can't feed. It's like I said earlier, if you could barely feed yourself, shit, think twice about it. At least until you're able to get to a certain goal in life, too. That's what I'm saying. You should want to do for yourself and get yourself in the greatest of places because, again, you can do it. Nothing stopping you from doing it but you. And for some of y'all, again, using that victimhood mentality and that entitled mentality, you're messing yourselves up. And again, you're not setting the blueprint the way you're supposed to be setting it. Your blueprint in life is to set certain family orders and balances. Think twice about it. You know, it really is for good measurement. 'Cause you never know what can happen and how is things gonna at least be able to maintain a certain balance when there's no structure, no financial structure on top of that. How can you build generational wealth living off the land too long? You're supposed to be able to build your own. Y'all claim y'all bosses, bosses build their own. They build it from the ground up. But bosses make moves that are important. Not just important for them, but for the people around them, including family. And they will also make decisions that, again, might not be personal, but they'll make those decisions because it's needed. It's about growth overall and elevation, no matter what. So, something to think about. Sorry, but how long you think you're gonna keep living like that? Again, don't limit yourself to anything in life. And for those that are tuning in, for those that are new to the channel, y'all make sure y'all grab them good links right there. Definitely some great people, great content creators. But I'm gonna also tell you this: don't sub up if it's not your type of content. I notice people will do that. Sub up to something, but it ain't for them. My thing is, again, you have the option before you do anything. But these are some great people. All the links that have been dropped, great people, great spaces. So, but all in all, though, you know, It's just simple talk tonight. A lot of you are responsible for what's going on there. Are you going to be taking accountability for it? For some of y'all, you might be in certain positions, and instead of coming on here crying and moping every day, these are the days you need to be trying to get certain things in order while you still can. I'm sorry, but coming on here to complain about you not getting this and you're not getting that, it's not helping your family. You saying that you're gonna rob, steal, and do whatever just to get food for your family, that's not helping your family. That's actually hurting and crippling your chances of survival. And that's real rap right there. Like I said, anybody could do anything if they put their mind to it. And again, don't set limits and balances. Like I said, there's no way you can tell me, oh, they're offering you this. The only thing you gotta do is remain home. It don't work like that. Everybody has to work. Single parent, both parent, no parents. If you're in either one of those categories, you still got to be responsible for yourself. So what you gonna do? If you're saying that there's nothing you can use or utilize to try to benefit yourself, sadly mistaken. Again, in some instances, you got to push yourself to great limits. And for some of y'all, you're scared of failure. But remember, failure is a part of life. You learn the greatest lessons, and you actually end up succeeding the next go around when it comes down to what you was attempting. You know, again, you can accomplish things. But you gotta want to. If you don't want to, you're never gonna be able to, or it'll be too late for you to do something. Don't live a life of regrets, and don't live a life of what ifs. Just get out there and apply yourself. See what lies out there for you. And when you are able to get to at least a good standpoint, you keep on growing, keep prospering. You can change a lot of different things when it comes down to your life. But expecting to just live off the land for free forever, that shouldn't be one that's in your mindset. Some of y'all are using past traumas to keep yourself from elevating. And again, you're doing it purposely. You're sabotaging yourself. Everybody has to start somewhere. Even if you want to be your own boss, you want to live life by how you want to live it, you have to start somewhere. It's a sad notion to think that, again, some people just don't want to apply themselves and just put in the effort and put in the work. But I believe you should. Because again, in the long run, you'll feel better about things. Trust me, everything that you was working hard for, it'll be for something great. And it'll continue to leave the legacy of growth and development. Some of y'all say y'all want to pass things along, But how can you pass things along when you're not doing that? You don't have nothing to pass along with. Again, times is changing, things are changing, laws are changing. The land is changing to a degree. And that should be scary for some of y'all. So again, it's time for y'all to apply yourselves and do greater. How can you strive for excellence and make improvements if you're not trying to be a part of improving yourself? Right now, times is going to be hard. And again, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in these next 2 months or so. Because to be quite honest, the way some of y'all are speaking, it sounds like there's going to be a lot of y'all families who are going to be having a very rough holiday season. And I would hope not. I would hope some of y'all would get yourselves together. See, when it comes to certain things, you can't be emotional. You have to be logical and rational. And how is anything rational about threatening violence or worse to gain certain things when it puts your family in risk? I mean, I need y'all to make that make sense. So you're willing to go to jail and make sure your family eats. But in the same token, what happens if nobody eats? Who wins in that one right there? Link is in the chat in case anybody want to chime in. Y'all just tuning in, hit the like button. And if y'all new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, this is a general message. Because again, if you're able to do anything, you should be thankful, number one. And number two, again, you're gonna have to work. But some of y'all that want to use religion, I'm gonna say this in the best way. Better find that passage where it basically says it. Basically says it. You ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna eat. I'm gonna say it, keep it just like that. If you don't get out there and do anything, you are not gonna eat. Your family doesn't eat. Not gonna gain nothing. And whose fault is that when that happens? That's nobody's fault but yours. You think you're going to do the bare minimum or do nothing at all and you're going to reap the benefits? No. You have to get out there and labor, whether you want to or not. Only way you're going to be able to keep a roof over your head and keep certain things under wraps. So, about that time, y'all. Stop relying on outside help and rely on self-help. But yeah, this is just really needed tonight. You know? Because again, you would hope that some of these people actually don't crash out the way they talk. But I believe some of them will. Some of them will actually live up to what they've been saying. Like I said, for others, they're gonna find a way to manage. And for some, they probably are already getting themselves in order. For those who are getting themselves in order and trying to do better, continue to keep striving and do better. Like I said, sometimes you're gonna have setbacks in life, but those setbacks shouldn't set you back forever. But all in all, though, just again, rely on yourself to make a better way for yourself and for your family or your future family. You are responsible for a lot of your own bills and everything else. It's nobody else's responsibility to take care of you or yours. It's your responsibility. And if you're going to choose to lay on your ass all day, you'll find out sooner than later. You did all of that for nothing. Instead of being in a bind, shoot, you'll be, you'll be satisfied with what you're doing. Again, it's a sole option for you to make. Uh, the option should be clear. You know, nobody's responsible for your living and your upkeep. That's your job. Nobody's responsible again for your bills. Nobody's responsible for anything. You're supposed to be responsible for yourself and accountable at all times. You know? Hopefully, some of y'all will have that turnaround eventually. You know? But you got to think about this too. What if they do decide to cut it off for good? You're gonna have to get up and do something, regardless to what. Again, there are programs that you could get into that can help. And again, you ain't got to worry about going into debt. My thing is, regardless to what, you should be on top of your game. And you're never going to be on top of your game if you decide to just, again, let life pass you by and not take chances. Like I said, it's time to start teaching the basic life skills. Relying on the education the way you're supposed to. That's another thing. Educate yourself. You know, for some of y'all, you're going to have to educate yourself. You're going to have to work on your grammar and everything else. And it's for the betterment, especially for those who claim they want to get in the business. You gotta have some form of business acumen. You know, you gotta be able to deal with people. You gotta know how to talk to the people. You know, you gotta talk in a professional tone, especially when you trying to get something that you trying to work hard for. That's the most important thing. Again, is just being consistent. You know, for some who feel like times is getting too rough, that's a part of life. It's gonna get rough. But you gotta be able to withstand everything. Again, it's survival of the fittest. Again, if you decide you don't hustle, you decide you don't grind, you don't eat. How do you expect prosperity when you're not trying to live your end of the bargain. There's some people right now who wish they didn't have to work, but they working anyway. They working for something greater. You know? Some of y'all cried and moped when you didn't do not a damn thing. And I mean, not a thing at all. You didn't go get no knowledge or get no information on the things that are needed. So, what did you do outside of again sit, run around the streets all day, and just social media it up all day? It's a question that need to be asked. You know, and as stressful as things might get, again, it's a part of life. Now you could change your options, yes, but until you know you in a solid position to change your options, you keep working until you find something greater, or till at least you able to build your own. I'm not gonna lie to you. For some of y'all, you think that it's a good thing to just have that lazy mindset, but you'll soon realize that again, time being wasted, that's time that could have been helping you elevate on all levels, including with your family structure. Once you decide on something, you stick your guns to it and you do it. Cut no corners. You stand 10 toes down and firm on it. Be quite honest, I'm just tired of seeing certain things, period. Again, crying and moping and playing victim. It's time for y'all to get it together now. It ain't nobody's fault that you in the positions that you're in. It's your fault. And again, not everybody has to pay or should be entitled to pay for your mistakes. It's not the way life works. You again have to be accountable. How do you hold yourself accountable? By admitting that you messed up, or by admitting that you made some mistakes, and then you move from there. Some of y'all, you're not gonna do it. You're gonna still cry and play victim, and some of y'all really might crash out again. I would hope to God that some of y'all don't, for real. This is a general message for them young kings and the young queens out there that are building families, that have already have a family structure. I pray to God that y'all don't go crazy out here these next 2 months. Let this be a lesson and an eye opener that things will not always remain the same. As time changes or as the decades go on, everything is going to change. The living off the land for free ain't going to work no more. Again, if you think about it from the agriculture standpoint, you think you going to pluck everything out the garden and don't plant something back into it? How do you expect your garden to grow? How do you expect more food or anything to produce when you're not producing and you're not putting in the labor? And that's real talk right there. This ain't coming from a judgmental standpoint again. This is just coming from a logical sense. At some point, you're gonna have to put in some form of work in life. If not, you can't expect no abundance of blessings. How do you think you get an abundance of blessings or abundance of things? You have to work. You also got to be strategic when it comes down to balancing your money. And for some of y'all, if you got a family, some of y'all should be able to know how to balance. But sad enough, there are some people who don't know how to balance. See, if you knew how to balance, there's a lot of y'all that wouldn't be on here crying about what's going on now. You have to take that into consideration again. Things are definitely about to be spooky for the next few months. Well, who knows how long? But, things you need to be concerned about is making sure that your family eats, but also making sure you find a way for them to continuously eat. Again, this is up to you, nobody else. Some of y'all, the taxpayers, should not be responsible for taking care of you. You should be responsible for taking care of yourself and taking care of your family. You don't want to take that into consideration. I don't know what to tell you. But like I said, at some point, this mindset of not wanting to do for you and yours, it's gonna get worse. Again, take the time out to assess your situation. And then from there, you know, you make the best possible move. Nothing wrong with doing that. There's a lot of things that would actually be changed and actually be better for life, especially for where you live. But again, y'all got to be able to come together. Got to come together for the better. For some of y'all, this thing is needed. You could utilize certain resources and materials. You could put in some of these things yourself. For some of y'all, you're crying about other people coming in your communities and basically doing whatever. But you're not willing to place within your own community and do something for the greater. I'm telling you, it goes deep. There's levels to it and it goes deep. You could build your own and create your own. But see, a lot of you are not waking up to the knowledge. A lot of you are not taking the time to do your due diligence and research. You know, how can you cry about a system holding you back? And to be quite honest, you're holding yourself back. Get more involved in first things first. Get more involved and get yourselves motivated. Get more involved in your life. Truth, baby. I mean, it's truth. How long you gonna cry and whine about certain things? You knew certain things was going to change at some point, or you knew at some point you was going to get affected. For some of y'all, you have resources that you can use to put back into your communities, but you refuse to. But you worry about these outside businesses, prime example. And guess what? Those businesses is taking exactly what you are earning. Money. Come on now. That same money you spending in these other establishments, you could be building your own establishments if you feel a type of way. That's why I said some of y'all holding yourselves back. You want to say it's a system, or you want to say your community, or you want to say these people are holding you back. No, you're holding yourself back. Because again, at what point do you say, I want to do for myself? At what point do you say it's better for me to be out there grinding and scratching than just laying on my ass and doing nothing? In some instances, these systems ain't built for us, and you know that. And again, this is a general message. Some of these systems is not built for us. For some of y'all that think it is, I feel sorry for you. Like I said, a lot of y'all about to really get a rude awakening. In this instance, it's time for some of y'all to get your priorities in order, get them straight. And again, not just solely for you, but for your family. For some that need to hear this, playtime is over. What you gonna do now? You gonna still cry about it? Or you gonna find something to do finally to get yourself out of these situations? Again, some of y'all responsible for what's going on now. Can't cry and bitch about it now. You get up and go find something to do, or have nothing at all. Do you really want to suffer those consequences? Like prime example, I believe the reason why some of these pantries and some of these places that I've seen people who used to frequent, they ain't frequenting no more. Yeah, because almost everybody and their mama on that line. Sorry, the general message. Almost everybody and their mama on that line. Almost every race I've seen on that line. That goes to show you that almost everybody's in some form of a struggle. But there are some people who are not going to be in that struggle for long. Why? Because they have will and determination, and they want to see greater. They're going to make sure they get to that point and make sure that their families don't suffer. But again, at what point do you say it's my time? I could be exactly what I want to be, and I could be where I need to be if I just remain humble, but also remain strong, mentally and spiritually strong. You're going to need it. Be quite honest. Like I said, I only feel bad for those who really will be affected in those scenarios because they shouldn't have to go through that. But for the rest of y'all, nah, I can't feel bad for y'all when you was able to do something and you didn't want to do something. And for some of y'all that want to have this boss talk mentality, boss at some point knows when to do the right thing, and especially if those right things are going to help in the long run. Critical thinking aspects. And guess what? A boss knows when to take a loss, but also when to, be humble when it comes down to winning. And don't claim that boss talk mentality when you're not employing nobody. That's another thing you got to remember. If you're not employing nobody, you ain't nobody's boss. You might be the boss in your own realm, but you're not a boss. You're not employing nobody. You're not paying nobody. You barely even got a company going. So stop having these talks like that when you ain't building like that. Some of y'all again in right positions and you might not even know it yet. But I would say just do what's necessary for yourself. When you spot it, you seize it. And you make sure that it works for you. In order for your abundance and prosperity, again, you have to put in the work. No more shortcuts. No more relying on outside help. And for some of y'all that claim that, oh, you're not getting the help, okay. If you feel you're not getting the help, then help yourself. That's the whole purpose of everything, is helping yourself. Nobody, again, is responsible for the decisions that you make in life. You're responsible. And right now, in this time juncture, I would advise some of y'all don't make critical errors. Because again, you don't know how long certain things is going to be for. And like right now, ain't going to be looking good for some of y'all. Focus your mindset again on trying to do something better. Like I said, I'm gonna definitely have this conversation again. Wasn't gonna hold y'all all night. I just wanted to get this little motivation out for real. And some of y'all who could be doing way better than what you're doing, but you're allowing certain things to hold you back. Your decisions in life, gotta live with them. You have choices and options. Your best choice and option right now is to try to put in as much work as possible. If you don't want your families to suffer, or if you don't want to be a part of that suffering process, you got to motivate yourself for better. Get into that mindset of doing something for yourself. Because again, we don't know which one of these programs will be cut. At some point, a lot of these programs is going to be cut. I feel like it's going to be. And again, you would want to at least have some of these people in the best state to get themselves out of this. For others, they're not going to take heed to the message. I can already see it. And again, you're not going to do it only because you seem scared. You feel like you're going to fail at everything that you do. You're not. Got to be able to accept failure. Some of y'all, you think winning don't come at a cost. It does. Look at it from sports aspect of things. Some people became the greatest players because, again, they went through all adversity. The mindset of true leaders. I'm going to give it my all and my effort, whether my support does or not. Whether I have support there or not, I'm going to give my all and I'm going to give my damn just because, again, I want to see greatness. And I'm willing to try to achieve my ultimate goals in life. You choose a path to greatness. I've always believed that. You choose a path to greatness. You choose your destiny in life sometimes too. You do. You can decide on whether you're going to have the perfect picture or you're going to have the crummy picture. The crummy picture, in my opinion, overall, is again relying on somebody else to take care of you when you know you're willing and able to take care of yourself. At some point, you'll find out lazy people don't prosper like you think they do. That lazy mindset is not going to be beneficial neither, especially if you're trying to leave a legacy and a blueprint amongst your flock. Not going to be that good sight at all. Juice, baby. Again, for some of y'all crying and complaining about what's going on with the situation in the government, stop crying every day and start finding ways to make your situation a little bit better or at least a little bit easier until you could get where you need to get. Crying and moping and making threats ain't going to help. And again, you're going to put yourself in a tight situation that you don't need to be put in. And to be quite honest, who the hell want to be locked up for the holidays? That's what some of y'all better get. Who the hell really want to be locked up or away from their family on the holidays? But think before you make your next critical steps, because I know these next months are going to be critical. But it shouldn't be critical on your family. About that time, y'all. Keep motivating yourself for greater things in life. Keep your expectations reasonable. You know, put in the necessary work. Find whatever it is you like to do. If you're going to follow a trade or a skill that's going to bring you to the next steps in life and the next levels of life, then again, apply pressure. Don't give up on what you are trying to achieve. You can still make it happen. And again, if you are motivated to do it, trust me, it'll look out for you. Again, you're gonna always have some form of stepping stones in life. But again, we gotta be able to come to a conclusion. Can't live for free forever. Gonna have to do something. Strong mindset you should have is, again, you want change. And to be quite honest, nothing will change if you don't get out there and make the changes. So hopefully somebody did get something out this message. I appreciate everybody that's tuning in. I appreciate everybody that's in the shadows watching. For those that might be new or just scrolling through the channel, if this is the type of content you like, you already know what it is. And if it's not cool, I appreciate you. But this is a motivational talk. This wasn't a judgmental talk. This wasn't a spit in your face talk, none of that. This is just a real life talk that people need to hear. At some point, you're gonna want to have to do for yourself. And again, with growth comes maturity. The more you grow and the more you know, trust me, you're gonna get there. And for some of y'all, again, you're only a hop, jumping, and skipping away from being in the best positions in your life. But you have to be dedicated to putting in that work. Change begins with you. Don't expect the system to change. Don't expect anything to change until you make the changes yourself. Change your mindset. Really is time. Because when it's all said and done, some of these programs, they might actually get the boot for life. That could affect your family or affect your future generations in the worst ways. So what's it going to be now? It's eye opening, should tell you. Time for you to want better and be better. Make sure you achieve it. And don't let nothing set you back. But I appreciate y'all for rocking out tonight. Like I said, I'm going to definitely revisit this because this is a motivational conversation that we need to have. For those celebrating birthdays this week, didn't forget about y'all. Did not forget about y'all. Hopefully y'all enjoy y'all birthday weeks. Hopefully y'all keep yourselves safe. Keep yourself observant and vigilant. And again, enjoy every moment of life. And again, if you was able to see another year of life, give your praises where it's due. But I ain't gonna hold y'all all night. Let me get my ass up out of here. For those that are just tuning in, y'all can catch this replay. Make sure you share this out. Definitely need to spread that motivational wisdom today. A lot of y'all could be in a better position, but you refuse to take the necessary steps. You refuse to try. At some point, refusing to try will be at your detriment. So I'll definitely catch y'all on a rebound. I could be back tomorrow with a little something. Might be earlier than you know. Y'all look out for the notifications, y'all. Again, always a pleasure to bring something to the people, and this is what we gotta keep doing. Let me get my ass up out of here. Oh wait, I ain't forget about y'all again though. Hold on. I didn't forget about y'all. I ain't forget about y'all. Appreciate everybody that's been a part of the build, still becoming a part of the build. And yeah, we definitely gonna keep having these conversations. But don't be surprised if you happen to hear one of these or one of those days. Because when you do hear this, you know I'm coming to cook. And you hear one of those, that means I'm definitely on one. So hopefully somebody did get something out this message. And again, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm gonna try to do this early afternoon. We'll see. If not, catch an early evening definitely. And the link could be pinned in case anybody want to chime in. So you know, if y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout outs to the replay game. Shout outs to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. For everybody that was in attendance tonight, you already know that love is love and it'll be reciprocated as such. I don't know how to be fake. All I can do is give you real. That's all I'm gonna do is give you real topics and real builds. Yeah, appreciate y'all rocking out. I see some of y'all running in these streets. I see some of y'all. Hopefully y'all enjoy the rest of your evenings. Hopefully everybody enjoy the rest of their mornings across seas. I already know it's about that time. Probably already afternoon time in other time zones. Hopefully y'all keeping yourselves in order. And again, I need my lottery numbers for tomorrow. Today. So holla at. You already know what time it is. Y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. And until the next live, we out of here. Peace and blessings.